Welcome to Good Morning Joy. I'm your host, Shari Alyse. I've got an amazing show for you today, so make sure that you have grabbed your favorite cup of joy. It is a great morning. I've got air in my lungs, we've got birds chirping, and I'm going to be talking about my favorite guilty pleasure today with top-rated podcast host of pop culture and reality TV, Daily Dose of Donna, is in the studio today. And then a little later on this week's Sharing with Shari, somehow I ended up in a baking class attempting a chocolate soufflé, but I was much more successful at chatting it up with people. All that and more on today's show. But for now, it's time to share with you the good news you should know about on the Joy Report. In a heartwarming story of a father's love, Gordon Hartman set out to create a haven where no one is left out. Inspired by a family vacation with his daughter, Morgan Hartman, who was born with cognitive and physical different abilities, she wanted to play with kids at a vacation hotel pool, but the kids were leery of her and didn't want to interact with her. Well, Gordon wanted to create an entire new narrative, so he built Morgan's Wonderland, the first fully accessible theme park that would ensure that nobody would ever have their spirit dulled again. The park offers a wide range of attractions, from a Ferris wheel to zip lining to a water park, all fully accessible. And for those who are reliant on electric wheelchairs, they even have a wheelchair valet service to make sure that everybody gets in the water hassle-free. Hartman has seen firsthand how this accessible theme park can change the world through joy. While this park is open to everybody, entrance is free for all of those who have different abilities. It's a heartwarming testament to the power of love and determination to create a world where joy knows no boundaries. I'm excited for today's guest. She is the host of the top-rated podcast, Daily Dose of Donna, where she shares her celebrity musings, her reviews of good and bad TV, and pop culture. I can't wait for this. Welcome to the show, Donna Bowling. Hi, Donna.
Hi, Shari. Thanks so much for having me.
I'm so excited to have you here today.
So am I.
Thank you. So let's just start right with joy.
Okay.
Let's dive in. What is the thing that is making you smile today?
Well, I have to say my community, since I started this podcast, has been 100% the thing that kind of puts a smile on my face. I wake up every morning. I have a Facebook group. I have got great DMs. I call them my dosers, my daily dosers. And they send me really funny news articles and things that are going on in the reality landscape that just put a smile on my face. So that's always what gets me going.
I love that. Well, community is a big part of why we feel joy. So it's a great answer.
Thanks.
First, I've been following you since Clubhouse days, when Clubhouse first came, and you were just like this ball of energy, which I'm sure you've heard before. But I remember listening to you on Clubhouse talking about branding and, putting yourself out there, and then talking about how Clubhouse was a thing. And then we went to Instagram, and then we had to go to TikTok, and I was just following you like everywhere.
We're just like following the herd of social media.
Completely. But what I loved is that you were always, it felt like just so true to yourself. And I think there might be some people who, because I know this, I'm a reality TV junkie, and people can be judgmental and a little critical of that, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But what I love and why I asked you on this show is because what you've done is that you have turned the eye, or to the critical eye, and you've just said, this is what lights me up.
Yeah.
And so I just want to talk a little bit about that and like how this podcast came to be, because it wasn't your space before.
No, I always like podcasts, and I always listen to podcasts, and I have had podcasts in different arenas, right? So I used to be a casting director. That was my first original part in this world. And I did that for 15 years. And then I was an agent, a talent agent. And then I became in this branding consultant world around COVID. With that, every time there was a show, I always had a podcast attached to it. But in January of this year, I really just I was on a walk with my dogs through the hills of Sherman Oaks. And I had a moment where I said, what will really kind of get me going this year? What will really light me up? Something just for me. It's not going to be a moneymaker necessarily. I did not in any way think it was. It's not going to be my career, but it's just going to almost be a hobby because I need some more light. I need some more excitement. I was feeling a little bit, I don't know, the online marketing course educator space. It gets like a little bit annoying after a while, I find. So I just came home. It was a Friday. And I said, I'm going to start a show called Daily Dose of Donna. I did not think twice about it. And that was probably my best move because I didn't overthink it. Did the show and had no idea what it was going to be about or anything. I just kind of announced it. And next thing you know, the show has been, it's completely taken, it's changed the course of my life.
I remember you talking about, oh, I'm starting this. And I was like, oh, cool. And then the next thing I know, like you're posting all these celebratory things about how this is growing. And I love how humble and like surprised you are by its success. What do you think is the reason for its success? Besides you not overthinking it.
I think it's a little bit of two things. Number one, I'm talking about topics that a lot of people are interested in because the reality TV landscape and pop culture and celeb gossip is always going to have an audience. But there's a lot of people that try to do shows or cover it and they just don't take off. I think two things. I come from the industry. So I do have that industry background. My husband is a reality camera operator and DP. So we come from it. And I say we, but I have his like knowledge and I get his scoop. And there's that. And then also, I feel like I am one of my listeners. I'm not a celebrity talking about it. I'm not a reality star. I'm a fan. And so the one thing I do hear from a lot of my listeners is they feel like they're hanging out with a friend. I'm not scripted. I have no idea what is going to come out of my mouth. I mean, half the time I'm like, ooh, whoops.
Which is all the fun of it.
It's really the fun of it. I like to make people laugh. I really like to entertain people, but I'm not a born and raised comedian. Like this is not, it's not like I tried stand up and now I'm doing this. It's really just, it's always enjoyable for me to put smiles on people's faces. That's always been a thing. So I have no idea. I also think the fact that it's daily, people are going through the journey with me. They've seen it grow. So they feel like they're part of it and they are. I mean, I couldn't do it without the audience. And then I celebrate my wins with them. And I think it's really important to kind of never be too big for saying, holy crap, I got 10,000 listens on this one day. Whoa. Like it's, it's silly things for some people, but for me, huge deal.
Yeah. I love that because that's what it feels like when you said the daily thing. I think people become like they get to know you and they become attached to you and your story. And I think that's what people love about that. And you're right. I mean, we all watch, well, not we all. I know there are definitely, again, I'm going to keep saying critics because when you stand out for me in that space, because you've posted very openly about how someone tells you that, you're not looking in the right direction for them.
No, I'm always touching my hair. That's the biggest note I get.
Yeah, but you're like, whatever, this is who I am. Or you tell too many stories. You talk about yourself in the beginning, which I try to limit that a little bit myself too, but I could sit here and talk about me all day, but it's about you. But I love that. So you're just you. And I think people feel that.
Yeah. It was really hard for me at the beginning because I've never had such a big audience. I've always had an audience like on Clubhouse, but it was in the hundreds, thousands. It wasn't like, I'll have YouTube shows that will be 50,000 views. So it's, all of a sudden I have Reddit threads about me and I have all these like people talking negatively in my comments. The best is when people say like, I'm tuning into your show to hear about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, not about your kid and his recital. But then for every single person that says that, there's always 100 people that say, I love hearing about your kids' journeys and this and that. I just go with the flow of saying, what do I want to talk about? I'll find my people, they'll find me, and hopefully we'll weed out those negatives. But someone told me, another content creator told me, it's a muscle. It's a muscle that you will constantly have to build, the muscle of having to deal with negative comments and critique. And unfortunately, it stops so many people from starting the podcast or doing the show or going online, putting their face online because of the critiques. But there's no safe way to, like, the truth is people will hate a flower.
Right. No matter what you do.
It doesn't matter. You can be, I always was, at the beginning, I was shocked because I was like, but I'm the nice one. I'm the likable one. Right. But I guess I'm not to a lot of people. So.
Yeah. I just recently had someone on TikTok post a video of me and saying, oh, she creeps me out. She's way too happy. But as soon as I saw that, I was like, I've made it.
Yeah.
I've made it.
Yeah.
Like, because once you start getting that, people will find anything. And it's really about, finding that alignment and that strength within yourself and who you really are.
Totally. And if you're too happy, then like, great. Why? Like,
worst problems to have.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, the best is when someone says like, oh my God, she talks so much. I'm like, I'm sitting, where's your podcast?
Yeah.
Lady, angry woman, 22.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Like, do you feel like this is the most aligned work that you've ever done? Do you feel most connected to it?
My friend Molly, who I met on Clubhouse too, she always tells me, you always have to kind of find that flow. And when things are in flow and everything's just happening and falling into your lap, it's got to be aligned. It's something I love to talk about. I watch it obsessively and I talk about it with my friends anyway. So I might as well, get on camera and do it. I'm also teaching a lot of people how to start their own shows. I have courses and stuff. So I'm still doing that side. Mm-hmm. And like, it's growing like crazy. I mean, yes, I would say it's the most aligned I've ever been in this moment. I have a tendency to like pivot every couple of years. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, no, I want to do it every day. I wake up looking forward to doing the show, which I think is the best sign.
That's joy. And that's what I feel actually when I watch is I feel your joy through it. When you were teaching people how to like show up on camera, it's not that you weren't joyful, but there was just this different feeling that I received from you. And I loved when I watched you teaching people how to be on camera. I'm like, she just needs to be on camera. Like, so has this always been like, were you always a front of mic kind of person, do you think?
No. And okay. I mean, when I was a really young kid, yes, but I guess enough people telling me I'm annoying or you're too loud or you talk too much kind of calm me down. I was behind the scenes. I loved being behind the scenes. I just wanted to be on set, mm-hmm. which is how I got my first job in casting. And I got to grow up and go on all these sets in my 20s. And even when I was a kid, 7th grade, I remember wanting to go to a taping of Full House. Like, I just wanted to see it happen. Right now, I think in the situation where I'm at, do I love the way I look every day? Do I love the way my arms shake when I, wave my arms? Do I think I have the face for camera or the voice for radio? No. But I don't think you have to have that anymore. I think it's just all about like, if I have the gift of gab, yes. That's one thing I do know. So whether it's a radio show or on a phone call. My husband's sick of talking to me, so I had to find someone else. That's the truth.
Our partners should meet each other.
They're like, you're still talking?
Yeah. Mine's like, oh, you're on the studio today. Oh, too bad.
And then he's like, peace.
Completely.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your husband and your family, because that's a big part of what you share is, you call them your two unruly boys.
Oh my gosh.
And it's a household of boys. And I follow you around because I live in the same area that you do. So I see, like, I've actually, talk about influencing. I'm like, I say to my partner, oh, we need to go to that restaurant. My friend Donna's been there. It looks really cool inside.
So, oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah, talk about, your family.
So Lance is in the business. He's a camera operator. He also has a production studio, like where he rents out camera gear called F22 Studios. He's really built his career, and I've been able to kind of see that firsthand. Very entrepreneurial, very cool to watch. And then my two boys I always thought I was going to have a little girl. I was like, I'm sure I'm going to be a girl mom. And I ended up with two boys. But one of them is super musical, super like into theater. He's a little Donna, 100%. And then the other one is like baseball, wrestling, let's go. Like athlete, just never wants to stop throwing a ball.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of broken things in our home. I have a lot of laundry. Yes, it's fun times.
Yeah. Well, that's what I wanted to point out though, is because you're having this super successful career as a podcast host, but you're also a mom doing laundry.
Oh my
and,
gosh.
You're sitting around with your Sauvignon Blanc.
Every Friday. Shabbat Shalom.
Yes. Hanging out with your friends, doing the whole life. How do you balance all of that and still stay creative and energized for your work?
I get that question so much. I really don't know any other way. I wake up at 5 every morning. I work out 7 days a week. I always make my kids lunches. I always get them to and from school if my husband can't. And then I take them to all their activities. I do all the laundry. I do have a little bit of help with other things, but I do all the laundry. I do all the food shopping. I cook every night. I enjoy it. I am not good at sitting and doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like when I sit and do nothing, I'm like, am I sick? Like what's happening? I am a mover and a shaker, but I listen to a podcast. I put a podcast on my ear and I can do anything. I take the dogs for a walk. I laundry, but that's just who I am. I don't know. Some people are just like born with that kind of go, go, go energy.
Yeah.
So I'm very lucky that I have it. I'm not a super relaxed person, much to the chagrin of my family.
Yeah, I got it. Same. Yeah. So curious, you have to watch a lot of television to be talking about television. Yes. Are you watching shows that you don't actually like, but that you need to update people on?
Well, I'm trying to be really careful to not get into shows that I like really can't handle. Like I tried Love Island, for example. No offense, Love Island peeps. My husband has worked on Love Island. I was like, I can't do it. I don't know if I'm too old. I don't know what's going on, but I'm like, I can't watch these people. I don't know. And I know people love it. Now, I'm really into the Golden Bachelor. Like I want to watch those people. Yeah. I connect more with the 75-year-olds than I do with the 20-year-olds. I mean, I guess that's 42 for you. I am really, I try really hard to stick with the Bravo shows that I know I love and would watch anyway. And then, I got to do my Sister Wives. I can't get enough of that. And some random like TLC shows and Netflix shows, Love is Blind, things like that. But I always tell my audience, if there's a show that you're obsessed with, I will try, but I can't guarantee it because there's only so many hours in a day. I was going to say, when is all of this? Is this like after the kids are asleep? So it's sad because my husband's like, we never watch shows together. I'm like, if you want to watch Real Housewives, we can watch shows together. Yes, I usually watch a show or two every night, but luckily with just like modern technology, I can access shows on my phone. So like instead of listening to a podcast, sometimes I'll watch a show while I'm doing dishes. You know what I mean? So it's just a constant thing. But yeah, it's a job. It's my prep. It's the best kind of prep. It is. I was going to say, like, when I was just thinking about you and the work that you do, I'm like, how fun is it? Like you're forced to watch, reality TV and pop culture and talk about it and have some, not that you're forced to have wine, but I would be like, it's part of the job. It really is part of the job. And, I signed a contract and said, you have to drink every Friday. No, it's a very fun, it's a fun environment. And I just think I come from it in a little bit of a different way. I don't recap the shows. There's so many shows out there that will recap and do impressions every single day. And I just come in and I just give you my opinion, I just have fun with it. Yeah. Talk about creativity with me and being able to find that. Is that something that just comes naturally being a creative person? My brain is just constantly going. It's like spinning a million miles per hour. I'm always thinking of how I can make things better or what I can do here or how I can pivot and how I can grow. And I just think there's some people out there that are very good rule followers. And for example, I'm an awful assistant. I am the worst assistant. I am not organized. I need an assistant. I am not, but I took everyone off my team for this show and now I'm doing everything on my own. I'm like, gotta get people back on. I'm just not an organized person at all. I'm not type A. I am not that kind of person at all. My brain is very much like a visionary, a creative, always thinking like how I can do things. But again, I don't think you can learn that. I think it's just who you are. Yeah. And some people have that and some people are really good at following tasks. Yeah. And checking off boxes. I'm not. I'm like a little mix of both. Like I've got the creativity, but I'm also like very organized as well and need to check off boxes. So I'm a blend. Yeah. I wish I was a blend, like a good coffee or like a good red rosé. So I'm going to work on being a blend. All right. Well, there's the visionary. We now are going to have a wine and coffee company. A daily dose of joy. That's going to be our wine. Cup of joy right there. Yeah, there you go. So let's talk a little bit about this idea about not looking for your passion, but looking for what lights you up. I think there's like this weird thing where I get a lot of DMs actually from a lot of moms of graduating from college kids. They listen to my show and they're like, do you think that you can talk to my daughter or my son? They're lost right now. They don't really know what to do for a living. Number one, I'm like, welcome to the world. I don't know what I'm doing for a living. I really don't. We're just figuring it out every day. No one knows what they're doing. But yes, it's almost this weird feeling of following this light. It's not light like an actual, like, where is the light on the studio? You know, it's more about following the light of what makes you, like, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to do? If it's something that you're dragging, you don't have to like every aspect of what your business or your career is. Because no one will. I don't like editing my show. I don't like, waiting for the thing to upload and dealing with negative critics. But in general, you have to love what you do, because if you don't, unfortunately, you're going to suck at it. You're not going to want to do it every day. And then you're going to slack off. That goes for everything though. That's workout routines. That's, clothing that you wear. It's like, if you don't like it, it's not going to continue well.
Yeah. And that really comes across in what you do and why I continue to watch you. And it's not like every day, but I'm like, when I see you there, I just walk away just feeling better, because I think what's needed so much right now is people to just accept who they are, what they love, and to not worry so much about what the rest of the world is thinking. And I think that that's the journey I've watched of you, and just showing up and being like, I'm all in on this podcast. I don't care what anybody else thinks. Like, this is what I love, and people are gravitating towards that. And that's the reason why, from my perspective, that it's so successful right now.
Thank you. I wish more people actually could feel that way. I actually feel really sad for a lot of people that say, oh my God, I've been dying to do a podcast for 10 years. And I'm too scared because I haven't lost those extra 10 pounds, or because I'm scared of what my mother-in-law thinks. By the way, my mom, I'm a Jewish, born to an Israeli woman who always wanted me to be like a successful doctor or something. Not really. She knew me well enough to know I wasn't. But when I told her I was doing this podcast talking about reality TV, she's like, what is this stupid thing? What is this? What is this, Donna? You can't do such a stupid thing. Now she's like, I love your show. She doesn't know what I'm talking about, but she sees the passion. She sees the audience. She sees that people like it. And now she's like, she's so good. It's like, you're not going to please the people in your life. The people in your life will not understand half of what you do most of the time. And as long as you feel confident about it, go, baby.
Go. I love it. So what's next for you? Or are we just continuing this? What do you see as the big vision for Daily Dose?
I'm running for president.
Oh my God, you guys.
That is next, you guys. This was the moment. No, I'm just kidding. I have no idea. I have no idea what's next. I mean, I imagine only cool things as I continue to just grow. I really, really love my audience. I can't wait to meet a lot of them. So maybe some live shows or collaborations and stuff. We'll see. I mean, the sky's the limit, really. I'm 42. Like, who knew this was going to happen?
Yeah, I'm going to be 50 soon. So I'm just like, this just feels like the second act, like, of joy.
Yeah.
Like, really, there's just this joy in life. And I think it has so much to do with what we've been sharing today, is about just doing what aligns and lights you up.
Yeah. And I think it's really important to know it's not going to necessarily fit in a box. Like, we're so lucky to live in a time right now where the world of content creation is just so wide. And so whether it's TikTok or music or Instagram Reels or whatever you want to do, just try something, go out there and have fun, and you'll see what sticks.
Besides doing your podcast and maybe wine and exercise, is there something, because you talked a lot about, things that you love. Is there something secretly that brings you joy that no one knows about that you're willing to share?
Nutella and peanut butter on one spoon is really the joy of my life. No, I would say in general, just family is so special to me. My kids' happiness, raising two strong, good kids in this climate and letting them just kind of be who they are, but also supporting them and seeing life is so scary and tough right now in the world. There's so many bad things you can see. So just kind of giving them a positive place to, thrive in life. And that's like the joy of my life is being a mom. I used to think I would hate baseball games. Are you kidding me? I look forward to them every single weekend. I get so competitive. I like it. I'm like the mom that's like,
are you like a stage mom, but the sports mom?
It's crazy. Like, I didn't expect it, but I became a sports fan. And now I'm a football fan because of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
Oh my God. How are you doing this fall?
You guys, it's really a tough life. It's really tough.
I love that. Where can people listen to Daily Dose of Donna?
So it's on every podcast app. So whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts or all of them. And I'm on YouTube every single day, Daily Dose of Donna. And then, of course, I'm on TikTok and Instagram. I live on both of those places.
Yeah. I live watching you on all of it. It is my guilty pleasure. And it's been my pleasure and joy to have you on the show today. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy you asked. Thank you so much.
So my friend recently gifted me with a baking class, and I am happy to report that I did not poison anybody. I didn't burn anything, and I didn't burn the place down. I didn't make a great dessert either, but I did get to meet with someone who is creating something much greater than creme brulee. Take a look at this week's What is it about cooking that you come here often for?
Besides the really good food, it's usually nice to connect with people you may never get to meet in regular life. And then you can go home and impress your friends and family.
Are your friends impressed with your cooking?
I think they're impressed I've gotten better.
Would you say that cooking is something that brings you joy?
Yes, it's definitely so much fun.
Is there anything else in your life that secretly brings you joy that maybe people don't know about?
Besides my boyfriend, I would say calligraphy and just work. I do adult stem cell work.
Wow. Is it just the creation of what you're doing that brings the joy?
It's learning something new and then just seeing something so small that is so important for so many people grow.
That's amazing. So I'm thinking my pecan tartlet pales in comparison to stem cell.
I would say the other way around.
Thanks so much for joining me today. Make sure to take your smile and go out there and share it with someone today. I'll see you next time on Good Morning Joy, where every day starts with a smile.